Festival and sport generally in Nigeria. Let's, of course, bring on board now Mr. Harrison Ocholor, who is a veteran sports broadcaster. Of course, the executive assistant to the governor of Delta State on sports development. He has over 30 years of experience in sports media practice, which includes the likes of sports media management, coverage of numerous national, regional, and international sporting events, sport rights acquisitions, among others. And of course, he's also a public affairs analyst and a public commentator. He's a man with the right answers. He knows this sport in and out, has over 30 years of experience, like I mentioned earlier on. Mr. Harrison Ocholor, good to have you on ADBN Sport, of course, for the first time. Welcome to ADBN Sport.
Thank you very much for having me, and good to be here on ADBN Sport.
Yeah, of course, it's your first time on the show. We're happy to have you. And since it's your first time, it's the first time we are talking, I will say congratulations are in order for the last National Sport Festival that Delta dominated again. Of course, and when we had the Niger Delta Sports Festival and Bayelsa won, and a lot of people were saying that maybe Bayelsa, when we get to Ogun, that it will be Bayelsa that we take it. But Delta brought their A game. So share with us, what really is Delta doing differently? And then when that Niger Delta Sport Festival ended in Uyo and your state couldn't win, what really, within that short period, did you do to ensure that when you got to Ogun State, you reclaimed your rightful position and Delta has been on top in terms of sport in Nigeria for a couple of years now?
Thank you very much for the question. When we got registered for the national, the Niger Delta Sports Festival, the rules were given to us, and the rules told us what the age bracket was for all the events in Uyo. We followed the rules to the letter in ensuring that we brought to Uyo young athletes within the age bracket. But when we got to Uyo, we saw something different. Some of the states brought players older than the age bracket. In some cases, we protested, but we allowed some things to just go because we knew we were already preparing for the National Sports Festival, the Gateway Games in Abeokuta. And we did all we could. Just the difference in medals, in gold medals between us and Bayelsa was just one gold medal. So we congratulated Bayelsa and said, okay, we'll go to the next level, which is the National Sports Festival in Abeokuta. Now, when we got back home, we got back to the drawing board and we asked ourselves questions. The chairman of the Delta State Sports Commission, Mr. Onosoborewori, and of course his colleagues on the board, got together with coaches, secretaries, directors. They had a meeting to understand what happened in Uyo, but really it was not just about what happened, it's about what we could do better in Abeokuta during the Gateway Games. So what happened was that we went back to the drawing board. We recalibrated our processes and systems in ensuring that we win for the 8th time the National Sports Festival. That's been the game plan from day one. Now, when I say day one, talking about 1973, when under Delta, under the then Bender State, we won the very first inaugural National Sports Festival. And we went on winning ever since till date. So there's no magic. I'm not going to let you in on the secrets. But again, I know that most of the states who have come to Delta to participate in the National Youth Games, for example, they say one thing. They would like to learn from us. They would like to know how we do what we do in ensuring the victories that we get either at the National Sports Festival or the National Youth Games. So it's all about the engineering process. It's all about sports engineering. It's all about sports recalibration and ensuring that our systems and processes work. We don't joke with that. Under the direction of His Excellency, the Governor of Delta State, Right Honorable Elder Sheriff Oborewori, that recalibration started from when he got into office to understand how the system would work or function better in his time as governor. And what we are doing at the moment is ensuring that we don't just discover athletes. Just to let you in a little bit of what we do, we've got the short-term plan. The short-term plan is all about discovering our athletes, our young ones, and throw them into competition mode. That has worked for us and is still working at junior level. Now, long-term, from junior to elite level, we do the what people would call, I call it personally, the NDP. And the DNDP for me is the long term. What the DNDP means is discover, nurture, develop, and move on to a podium level. That's called the DNDP. Most countries practice this. I use India, for example, and Australia. What happens in these countries at national level for them is this policy I just talked about. What we do here in Delta is that we look at the systems and processes from different perspectives. We look at it from a community level perspective where we have the Algon Local Government Sports Festival. We look at it from school level where we have local government, we have the school games. We look at it from secondary level where we have secondary school games. We look at it from a holistic part where we talk about sports education in our schools, and you want to talk about sports in our communities, and of course you want to talk about sports science. Now, Delta is in the forefront of sports science. Many people will know this. So just to let you in, we have a system that works, but under the direction of His Excellency, we're going a step further to have what you call a national sports policy, a Delta State sports policy. Now, a Delta State sports policy, what it will drive is development. It will provide for more sports development in terms of athletes development, infrastructure development, and of course investment in facilities with the support of the private sector. This is what we're doing in Delta.
Okay, now I'm happy you mentioned the Delta State sports policy because I know there's a national sport policy in place now. One of the mandates that President Bola Tinubu gave to the NSC is the development of a sports economy. Delta has been hosting events. Of course, you talk about the Confederation of African Athletics Region 2 Championship, for instance. In recent years, Delta have hosted that. There have been times where Delta have hosted the Super Eagles. You talk about the National Sport Festival itself, and then you talk about the National Youth Games. So how has Delta benefited, or what is the plan to bring sports economy into place so that the hosting of this event, we are not just developing the athletes, also developing working on the facilities in terms of economic benefit for Delta, and then for those young people that you've talked about, grassroots development for schools, for the Algon Games and all of that. What economic benefit is Delta planning to tap into the economy of sports so that it will be holistic development that we'll be having in terms of sports development in Delta?
Thank you very much for that question. For every competition we have hosted, and either hosted the Super Eagles or the National Youth Games or the National Sports Festival, there's been a deliberate policy that whatever we do in hosting any event or competition in Delta State, there must be a policy direction as to how the economy will benefit. Now, when I say economy, I'm talking about local economy in your city of host. So you remember, we use the Olympic yardstick in doing this. What does the Olympic policy say as far as host city is concerned? before in your bidding process, one of the questions the Olympics people would ask, the officials would ask, is that how will this competition benefit the whole city? Now, we use that as a yardstick to let you, Nigeria, understand. You see, under the Renewed Hope initiative of Mr. President, the National Sports Commission has given a direction. We have gone ahead before now. Trajectory. We've gone ahead. We've been doing our thing. We have a policy in place that whatever competition, successive governments before the administration of His Excellency the Governor of Delta, Right Honorable Elder Sheriff Oboriwori, we've had a policy where for every competition we host, there must be key indicators in place to measure the success of the hosting of that competition. And one of those key performance indicators is a local economy, where we want to see our artisans benefit, we want to see hotels, local hotels benefit, we